This is Griffin from Eddie's Guitars in St. Louis, Missouri, coming at you with another weekly live stream with some of our newer, older, and favorite electric guitars that we've got here right now. Right now I've got a James Trussart Steelcaster? Steelcaster, right? Is not made of wood. Except for the neck, obviously.
All metal, baby.
It's kind of weird because it does sound very woody. It doesn't like sound like just like a plugged in resonator. It really has its own tone to it. Round on a guitar that's a hollow metal body.
Gotta love those new strings stretch.
Yes, folks. I don't know if the room is picking up any of that really, really pronounced acoustic sound of the guitar, but it really does sound not just like a resonator. It's when you play it unplugged, it sounds unique. It's hard to describe. Kind of a big neck on this guy, a big boy. Not typically what I would gravitate towards, but it's very comfortable. Yeah, there's something about this guitar and these guitars in general that have their own flavor. We're really excited to carry them in the store. A little bit of gain too. Like they're prepared to chug. Like, if you told me that sound was coming out of a metal guitar body, I honestly wouldn't believe you. Been very, very impressed with these. We have a couple more that are wildly different than this one. We have another Steelcaster, I believe, with dual humbuckers and a Bigsby. And then we have, I forget what the actual model of the guitar is called, but it's an S-style guitar with three singles.
It's the Steelomatic.
Steelomatic. Yeah, though that one is very cool as well. Pretty much everything we've gotten has been impressive, and if not, like, really impressive, really interesting.
What's next, Griffin?
This is a Don Grosh bent top.
The bent top.
We're big fans of Don Grosh guitars here. We don't seem to have, or we get as many as we can, and we don't seem to have more than one or two of them at any given time. And this, as of right now, we have two, and I'm very excited about it. One further word on Trussart, we had that single cut. What was it? That Titanic green snakeskin one.
Yeah.
It had like
That was cool.
brass hardware, a brass aged Bigsby, and it had like it literally looked like snakeskin or crocodile skin on the guitar's finish. It was really, really cool, and just as like that one with the graphics and stuff like that. Very few of their guitars look exactly like another one that we've seen.
Definitely.
Clarity of those pickups are fantastic. These are actually what are in these? It's a fat neck in the or a 60s fat in the neck and a 60s fat in the bridge, and then a 327 or sorry, 60s fat in the middle, and then a 327 in the bridge. This fourth position sound right now, just a nice like cut or a little split in between the neck and the middle. Just a huge fan of this brand. I remember at the last guitar store I worked at, Don Grosh got traded in by the customer, and we were all just like passing it around, being like, "Man, we'd never heard of this brand. This is unbelievable." And I believe it was an SuperJet, so one of their lower end models, not one of their more expensive models that I hadn't had a chance to play before I started working here. The customer that traded the guitar in ended up buying it back 2 days later for the same amount that we gave him. He just ended up being like, "No, I shouldn't have gotten rid of the guitar," and we definitely agreed with him. If one of us would have been able to take it home, we definitely would have. Like, they just work. They cooperate. I can't describe. That's the word I would use for a Don Grosh guitar, is cooperative. It stays in tune. You don't have to tune it 100 million times, which is for live stream purposes very, very useful, to say the least. The pickups are super reliable, super versatile. The like consistency, reliability is becoming more and more important to me as I play so many guitars and see so many coming through the door, and become kind of less interested in particular like new features or things. I just want to know that the guitar is always going to work for what I know I'm going to use it for, and this brand is really good about that. A little bit. So that is just that quintessential bridge pickup sound. It's good. Huge fan. I won't spend too much time on this one because I have another one ready for you.
Well, can we get some close-ups on that one?
Oh yeah, this one's got a beautiful quilt maple top.
There we go.
And this aluminum pickguard, I guess. Really a big fan of the like aesthetic nature of this guitar. Just really classy, not super flashy.
Bring it towards the center of the camera.
Oh. It's mirror image, folks. I apologize. And then matching headstock. Really love the design of their headstock.
That one's bad in a good way.
What should I do next?
I don't know. Do something with a cutaway.
A cutaway, right?
There you go.
A cutaway. Some people have said I'm too literal. This is a ESP, EC, or an Eclipse. I've spent too much time playing those LTDs to really remember that. When it's legit, they call it an Eclipse. This is a beautiful sparkle finish on this. Granville here actually spec'd this guitar out as well as a few others that they're coming in very soon. If this one got here. It's got this blue sparkle finish. It's got a Duncan 59 in the neck and then a custom in the bridge. Locking spurzels and matching headstock, painted neck.
Lots of blue sparkle.
Absolute metal machine. Like Duncan's. A narrower nut width on this one than the other ones I've been playing. If you're a low fret riffer or like just like a low like a beginning of the neck chug person, perfect guitar. With possibly smaller hands too, this would be a phenomenal guitar. Sounds great. Can't go wrong with Seymour Duncan. Neck is. The answer to that is it sounds awesome. That's the neck pickup right there. Just have a presence to them that I really like, and particularly ESP guitars with Duncans in them. I think that is just like a match made in heaven. They really like oftentimes just sound incredible. The Fishmans too. I did a demo with a ESP with Fishmans in it that sounded great, but I owned a ESP LTD many years ago that had a combo of Duncan pickups in it, and it's one of the best sounding guitars I've ever had. And this one reminds me quite a bit of that. Sounds a lot better because it's a legit one. Questions about this guitar, any of the other guitars, please leave a comment so that I don't have to think of anything to say, because clearly enjoy playing a little bit more. Love about the Eclipses is they have a tremendous amount more attack than other single coils, or not single coils, single cuts that you would compare it to. You know, obviously your big boy LP, your Collings City Limits, you really just any single cut. I'm blanking on some of the other ones. Your McCarty 594 single cut. This is just going to have a little bit more pick attack and a little bit more aggression, which obviously from the manufacturer is typically what you're going to want. If the itch is if you're trying to scratch the itch of a single cut, but you playing in a more aggressive band, this is an absolute winner of a guitar. Before playing a jazz lick. Set this one up for drop D, but being a short scale and having regular strings on it, we all know how, all of you drop D bros out there will know about how that went. she'll squeal.
Wow. Wow.
Speaking of ESP, we actually have a word from our sponsors while I'm grabbing my next guitar. I think Hondro has something queued up for you guys. Stay tuned. Don't look away.
And we're back, folks.
Welcome back, everybody.
We in no way endorse or condone the commercial we just played.
Yeah, Hondro's twin brother Dondro. He came in with that idea fully formed, and we gotta admit we believe in him, but not necessarily the contents of that advertisement. So,
Anyways,
this is a James Tyler classic. You may be saying to yourself, that looks a lot like some of the Studio Elites that you've had in the past, which is what I thought. I had to look up the difference between the two. This is in a white Shmear, gold hardware, very classy, very. I like it. It is like very like. Reminds me of like marble or like Roman architecture or something like that. Like very, very palatial. This is a classic. It is not a Studio Elite HD. The Studio Elite HD has more modern contours on the body. I believe it has a bigger headstock, so they can probably fit maybe one or two less James Tylers on there. And then it has the Studio Elite HD has a mid boost switch on it, which a lot of people are huge fans of. I haven't had enough time to really dive in and see what I would use it for, but as a huge fan of mids, I can imagine I would be a pretty big fan of it. This one, however, doesn't have it. Has the JTS 5500 pickups in the neck and middle, and then it has a super bridge pickup made by James Tyler. I'm a big fan of all of James Tyler's pickups. They're right up there with the Groshes, with the Tommy Andersons, the stuff Ernie Ball makes. They just absolutely just jump out at you, like really, really present. To be honest, I might have liked that Duncan on that last one a little bit more in the bridge, but it could have something to do with the bolt-on nature of the guitar as well. Sound really good. Corrected, yeah, this sounds just as good. Happy. Man. At the risk of repeating myself, you guys may have seen a lesson video from earlier this week that we posted in reel format, so we didn't have quite a lot of time to break it down in detail. That's the lick I just played. It's a lick in E harmonic major, so a lot of people have heard of harmonic minor, you know. Well, I guess if it was E, it would be the classic exotic, you know, Middle Eastern sounding scale that a lot of people use. There's a version of it in the major scale. It's not a mode of it, but it's similar sounding, similar approach to the major scale. you take the 6th note of the major scale, you flatten it by a half step. So a regular E major scale would sound like this. And an E harmonic major scale would sound like this. So that 6th note is flattened, which kind of makes it complicated for when you do start thinking about what minor key you're in. Luckily for you, you don't have to worry about that. If you want to play this lick, if you think this lick sounds good, just worry about this this E harmonic major pattern. So it starts up here on the 12th fret, E, and then it goes. So up a whole step, back down, and then down to this altered note, this flat 6. You can really hear it. Just keep going down the scale. Then by the time you slide down to the next note, so now you're at E again. So you can literally just repeat it. So exactly the same pattern of notes that just repeats itself 3 times. So 1, 3. But then you just go up. If you felt like doing that. You could use that in context as like playing, so say you're playing an E major, you're doing like that chord you hear me play all the time. You go down to that very dissonant chord, so you can go. And then you resolve back to that. These finishes on these guitars, these Shmear finishes, are very unique. They don't feel anything like any other guitar. There's a certain tactile nature to them that translates to their necks as well. If you like, rough is not the word that I would like to use, but it's the only word I can think of. But it's like a rough texture that has a ton of grip, and it just doesn't feel quite like anything else. If you're a fan of, if that sounds like something you'd be a fan of, I would be surprised if you weren't. The clean sound on this. Don't quote me on it, but the Classic may have 22 frets and the Studio Elite may have 24. But they both may be 22. This is a tight input jack.
Better than a loose input jack. I was at a show last night and watched a guy, his lead singer stepped on his cable and pulled the cable out of his Kiesel, and they're like, "What happened?" Like, oh.
Yeah, it looked like somebody pulled the headstock off of both of their keys. I can make that joke. I own 2 Strandbergs. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
This is a Suhr Custom Modern in a trans wine red finish. This has a beautiful figured maple top. I don't know whether to call it quilt or flame. I'm just going to call it figured. I mean, look at that thing. Unbelievable.
Phenomenal.
We had one that they were calling Waterfall Burl in a few weeks ago, and I think this rivals that one as like the coolest figured top that Suhr has ever sent us. This has a Goto, Japanese Floyd, locking tuners, bird's eye maple neck, really nice bird's eye maple neck, very very figured. And as far as pickups goes, Thornbucker in the bridge, Thornbucker in the neck. You've heard Pete Thorne's tone. No questions need to be asked as far as that goes. That guy knows how to make a guitar sound good. We've never checked to see if the backing track would be good volume-wise,
I
did we?
didn't pull it up. I'm sorry.
No worries. Those may be my favorite pickups so far. That sounds nice. Sounds awesome. Output, but it's still very, very clean sounding. It's like super, super compressed in a good way. Zero comments.
Yeah. Robert Gistiana says hi from Florida.
Hi from Missouri. Thank you for commenting. I am sustained momentarily longer from just that minor interaction. So if you guys, if you want to do your mega wish for today for somebody,
Yeah, tell us what guitars you like. Tell us what guitars you hate.
Tell us what people featured on camera that you hate.
Tell us what you ate for breakfast.
I ate for breakfast. Guess. What's your opinions on Floyd Rose? Sound off on Floyd Rose opinions in the comments. Let's get something.
Let's get
going.
heated. Let's get Hardtail versus Floyd Rose going. Let's bring that back. It doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt leaned into the room to appear as if he was going to say something, and then we were transfixed by him. guitar is they roasted the body as well, which probably has now in retrospect has something to do with how it sounds so tight, why the pickups are so they respond so much to it. It's not like they're not picking up tons of extra stuff. An elliptical neck on it too, which is very comfortable. I thought that it would be a little thicker than I would please me, but it's very comfortable. I'm a big fan of it. Sustains like unbelievably well too. Amount of noise gate on it too. Gross. Ah, hot swap on the last one. Hot swap on the last one. Or no, second to last one.
JS on YouTube wished us a good weekend and said that we have the best guitars on earth.
I'd have to agree. And I'd have to say thank you. And I'd have to wish you the best weekend on earth. Because, yeah, we're very proud of what we get to carry. Because we all started somewhere. And if you would have told the beginning guitar player, bass player, what we would have access to and what we would get to take part in making sure people have access to, we're all really proud of it, and we're all really happy to be here and happy that other people get to enjoy it too. This, I mentioned that Don Groshes are rarely found in pairs. Today is one of those rare days. This is a SuperJet, the extra spicy version of the anecdote mentioned Don Grosh earlier, the Electrojet. The SuperJet is basically just better in every way. It's got a figured maple top, tortoise pickguard, HSS configuration, which this has the same pickups as the other one, although the guitar sounds quite a bit different. It has the 60s fat pickup in the neck and the middle, and then it has a 327 in the bridge. One's just a little more buttery than the other one, not quite as like in your face as the other one, but it really just has a silky sweetness up on the top. And I mean, this is bridge pickup. It shouldn't really sound that like silky, you know? What the things I had to say about the previous bent top echo in this guitar as well. Extremely cooperative. Easy to play, easy to tune, stays in tune, stays easy to play. Yeah, this is up there with my favorite offsets. I would say if I were to get an offset, it would be between these guys or UPEG probably, or OPEG as I may have learned as of yesterday. Which shout out to those guys. They came through the shop yesterday. Really great dudes. Brought us some matcha flavored Kit Kats.
Yum.
Yeah. But that had no effect on how much I like their guitars. The Kit Kats. That's I'd never sell out for a Kit Kat. Think they believe me, Hondro?
Totally.
They brought one of their basses. UPEG brought one of their new basses, the Stormbreaker, which we should be getting soon. That thing is sweet. If you are into short scale basses, save up for when they come in here. Start make a spot on your rack.
Nice, I like that one.
I heard they're trying to say Corncob TV isn't a channel. Or no, it's Coffin Flop isn't a show.
Coffin Flop isn't a show on Corncob TV.
Had to say this one for last. For obvious reasons.
This one might be my favorite one we got in this past week, hands down.
But your hands are on the table.
Oh, they're right here.
This is a Tom Anderson Guardian Angel in Cajun key lime to teal burst with HSH configuration, an even taper, caramel maple neck, locking tuners.
And blacked out hardware.
Blacked out hardware. These black nickel pickup covers are the business. This is quite similar to a guitar that I had Tom Anderson make for me that I received about 2 months ago. That I have been overwhelmed with the absolute I'm speechless. I have been trying to make a video with the guitar to show my appreciation to the people at the company with material and with describing it and everything. But what happens when I go home to do the work on the video is I begin playing the guitar, and then I play the guitar for about an hour, and then I run out of time to get things done, and then it's time to make dinner, and then I pass out. And that's basically what's happened every night that I had time to do it. Luckily, we have this one here. Different than mine, it's got a mahogany back instead of a swamp ash back. It still has the quilted maple top. It just doesn't have a one specifically for wake surf burst. And this one, it has it's a green color scheme instead of the pink color scheme. But bridge pickup. When I'm kind of amazed at Tom Anderson and a few other manufacturers out there, but I'd say Tom Anderson is probably the most prolific user of this system. They use a system with their guitars called the Buzz Featon tuning system. It's a series of intonation, basically, what would you call it? Like,
I don't know.
It's like, I just can't think of the word. It's like compromises. They make intonation compromises in either direction of a few cents. Basically, it allows your guitar to be what they claim is as intonated as a well-tuned piano, which is much better than your average guitar. I don't know in depth how they intonate it, but when you tune it, you actually tune the guitar differently every time. You tune the B a little bit sharper, and then you tune the bottom 4 strings to your 7th fret harmonic. But the goal and the result is that your chords sounding up the neck sound more intonated. Obviously, there's no such thing as perfect intonation on a guitar, even with multi-scale, even with true temperament, even with all that stuff that I personally love. But it really makes a difference when you play a chord up on the 8th fret. And that C isn't like a quarter of a pitch in another direction. It's a huge, huge difference. Playing like very dense chords with like possibly dissonant intervals inside of them, the confidence boost of knowing that like a little bit of extra time and effort went into making sure that that was going to sound right, even if it was just placebo, which I don't believe it is. Even if it was, that would be worth it alone, just to be able to play a chord with a million notes in it and just be like free, because you don't have that with every guitar. This one has the HC1 in the neck, the SC1 in the middle, and the HC3 in the bridge. I ended up going with almost the exact same pickup configuration, but I went with, I believe, the HC2 Plus in the bridge, not the HC3. I think the description when I was reading it, it said it was like super, super high output, but I could be wrong. Because this doesn't sound like, it's not the hottest thing I've ever heard in a good way. was specking out mine, I asked. I've been partial to the Goto 510 bridge on mini guitars of mine, and I asked if that was something they could do, and they were like, "Nah, ours is better. Our vintage style 2-point tremolo." And I was like, "Okay, cool, I believe you." And I got the guitar, and it absolutely was. It left little to be desired. All you guys checking it out. Did you have a favorite so far in the stream? Is there one that you'd like to hear again? Is there one that you would like to buy right now? Because I'd like to take them all home. But my opinion isn't the important one. It's yours.
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is pretty special. That sounded really good too. And the SuperJet. I liked the SuperJet. Huge fan of those. I really liked every single one for its own way, but that's kind of the milk toast answer, right? You know, that's the
milk toast
with a Q.
like milk steak.
Yeah, milk steak.
Jelly beans.
Yeah. Do you think
I got radio silence here in chat?
Do you think there's a sloppy milk
outside
steak?
playing sports today. Sloppy milk steak?
You think sloppy milk steak's a thing, Matt?
Yep.
But it would dissolve. The jelly beans would dissolve, wouldn't they?
Not if it's just pushed back and not slicked back.
You're right. I forgot that we got to push it back and not slick it back.
Personally, I'd take a big fat load of Tom Anderson.
I'd You guys must be enjoying these off-camera conversations. Well, I guess I'll just play you guys out then. It's
Play that one that's like.